I know, I just heard my mic and DJ's mic.
Yeah, you did. It's just that easy.
Keep us together, rock in the shadows. Keep us together, running through the shadows. Keep us together, running in the shadows.
I hope you got the quality order right.
We're about to find out. I'll put it on moderate just in case. I reckon this is gonna be alright. Let me go ahead and get the link. I'll get the link real quick. Let's see. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna just restart the weekend. In the 21 car. Is there a 21 car in Cup? I don't think there is. Pull my mic closer to my mic. Yep, only a two-man booth, I reckon. Me and DJ.
Yep.
So we're gonna
We chillin'.
we're gonna see how it all unfolds. Speed run through practice. Oh shit, I'm in the wrong one. Sorry, the wrong file. I saw Richard Johnson. I was like, bro, this ain't it.
Surely this session will go well again.
I saw Richard Johnson go to the top. I'm just like, bro, what?
It's built different, man. Even for an old man in the Sony Cup universe, you know.
All right, let's see here. Pop that link in there. Boom. Let's roll. All right, speed run through practice. Bobo Jones, Luke Martin. Luke Martin back at the top again. Dejon Weeks. I feel bad for you, DJ. You're not going to be able to hear the audio. I really wish Discord would allow me to share the audio like it used to.
Yeah, you'd have to, like, I think put the game in window mode if anything, but I don't think you'd want to do that. I mean, you could. You just have to readjust the graphics and everything all over again, you know?
Yeah,
make it not blurry.
Yeah, it's not that good. Let me see. Let me pop up YouTube so I can see everything live. So Dejon Weeks wins practice, and it's Luke Martin, Jesse Tunner, Jeffrey White, Samuel England, the top five. Patrick Smith, who it's like got a really good run in practice here, 9th. Looking through the field. Flipside Motorsports, I see with Will Goss there, 14th. Let's look down through the field here. I'm just praying I've got the order right. It felt like it took a minute to adjust everything again. So Allison Liera takes up the rear of practice. That is the 42 car field in practice. Weeks with a 2038. That's just about half a second separating the field. We're gonna go right into Q. Who's gonna start on pole for tonight's race? It's Samuel England.
Harple. Oh.
Or Samuel England.
It's Harple up there.
Sean Harple.
Mind your manners.
I didn't even see Harple, man.
See, you already got that. You want your driver already to get a pole so far. Shaking my head, man.
Freaking Harple in England on the front row. Cody Lamas, Dejon Weeks. Weeks is looking fast.
Oh, look at
White.
Nelson Reeves.
Nelson Reeves, P13.
No surprise for Sean Perkins, you know, trying to get some rust off, 15th. Colt Baker, 16th. Jeff James, 17th. All right, pretty Gucci there. Dylan Schwalmer, D. Schwallen, 23rd. Charlie Smith, 24th there. Look at Marchese. Let's see a couple stragglers back here.
Looking through the rest of the field. And Allison Liera again, wow, a really tough qualifying session. 0.3 of a second off of Francois Chastain. Yepes back here. Some rookies, Dane Stinson, Shade Eves, Aiden Shepard, Miles Mashburn making his debut tonight. But looking at the front, it's really surprising that UER is on pole, but Cybertron Motorsports all inside the top 10 there. Eric DeMax with a good qualifying effort. And, well, going to get right into the race. Get 150 laps under our belt.
For today's race.
And get ready to roll off.
Underway.
Sean Harple and UER, they have really struggled this season. But tonight could be their night to turn their season around.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Even like the CBMs, they kind of had a slow start. I mean, Zayden Davidson, though, is kind of the outlier in my opinion there. Obviously, the points leader coming in 8 points ahead of Dejan Weeks. And, Schwallenberg, 9 ahead of the max. Pretty small gap, but, with how this new system is, I think some teams are off to a rocky start, A
lot of people are really just going to be wanting to get a top 10. Top 10s are what scores points for this season. A lot of controversy off the racetrack about that decision. Harple and England on the front row. They have yet to score a top 10 this season. They want to do that tonight. Harple leads in a turn 1.
Little good jump there for the 14. Cody Lamas on the inside. Teammate Jeffrey White not too far behind. The Curtis Racing cars had a very good qualifying effort, which is kind of blasphemous at this rate. But England, though, up on that track, you kind of want to be at the bottom early on, but you know how it is. Double file at a short track is very, very hard to get to that bottom. And Dejan Weeks, he's got to get down there. Already some 3-wide action there. Look at the 83 go. Marchese, the inside of Will Gosson. Looks like Cal Farrell up on the top. Some aggression early on, and that's what we love to see.
Rodriguez Racing showed a lot of speed at Daytona and Dubai, but North Wilkesboro, I mean, they qualified mid-pack, and Rodriguez, there's Marchese, very aggressive, like you said, DJ, muscling his way to the inside, and he's trying to move to the front.
This is former boss he just passed right there, so that's a statement to say for Anthony Marchese,
Slammed the door shut on Marchese, but Marchese busted through the door. It was not going to be denied there. It was only the opening laps. A statement move, like you mentioned there. Curtis Racing, Rodriguez Racing, some teams that we noticed at Dubai that were really quick. And Curtis Racing had both their cars finish inside the top 5, and they're into the podium positions early.
Yeah, pretty good stout of effort here. Look at Joseph Srigley making his move forwards in the 86 on the inside. I think that's Eric DeMax actually not too far behind the Aces machine. And looking at 8 cars, Charles Sanford, DJ Curtis sliding up the track as James Silverfox wants to take action here on the inside line. Again, more 3-wide action. Look at Sean Perkins moving his way forwards here. And how about the 4 car right in front of him, Nelson Reeves? Also a great start here in lap number 6.
Wow, Nelson Reeves, he really did impress me at Dubai. He started 38th, and he was able to climb his way up through the field and challenge to try and get a top 10 result. He's knocking on the door behind of a Daytona 500 champion, 2-time series champion of the sport. And wow, Nelson Reeves really turning some heads in the FBRL, isn't he?
Yeah, maybe it could be one of his hidden strengths is short track brilliance. And well, right now, again, trying to climb into the top 10. Curtis fighting up top. James Shelley and Jesse Turner not too far behind the TPR cars. Looking to try and regain some momentum here, but as of right now, though, I think the front of the field's starting to get a little bit single file. You kind of notice them fanning out and spreading out. And really, the top 2 are kind of on their own little zip code right now. White only 1.43 seconds behind first and second, but Cody Lamas and Sean Harple lead the way.
I'm still kind of taken back by the UER pace. If you look back at Dubai, they were awful in terms of pace. They were way down the running order, and Cybertron Motorsports were the only Mercedes team that had any sort of pace. And UER, well, this is a very huge surprise, and he's continuing to log laps in the lead. And Lamas, I imagine he's being a little patient. We got 140 laps around this circuit still to go. Plenty of time still to make a move on the 2016 Hardee's champion.
Yep, really does say a lot about, experience, and really with how a lot of teams with this new car have really taken advantage of this now, new ounce of parity in the field. And, we usually see drivers like Curtis Racing, they'd be like a top 10 team, but Lamas trying to make a little peek to the inside. Harple, though, just able to get the momentum off of turn 2, and gonna try and translate that into turns number 3 and 4. But you see the 14 just slide up a little bit of the racetrack, maybe a little understeering off the corner here. But Lamas is just kind of really waiting and seeing if that 14 makes a mistake.
Lamas looks just a hair better than Harple at this point. Jeffrey White, last time we were at a short track was the end of last season at Martinsville, and Jeffrey White grabbed his first win. in the Sony Cup Series, and that was actually Curtis Racing's only race win in the Sony Cup Series in 2022. And they're starting off really good. They had a poor run in Daytona. Both cars DNF'd, finished 40th and 41st. And Dubai, 4th and 5th. Could be their season to really... They've never really been the top Chevy team, have they? It's always been Mace Enterprises and CM Racing, but with CM Racing now debunked, Shea Binyaka Racing taking over that organization, it's looked like the new lead Chevy team is Curtis Racing.
And I think they've been waiting for this for a long time. Obviously they've been in partners with CM Racing now, Shea Binyaka Racing for a good bit, but they're just kind of just there. They kind of vibe around the pack, but you see there again, they're just all spreading out a little bit. Jeffrey White's been able to close the gap just a little bit here. You see 0.91, so they've actually been able to close it in slowly but surely. Joseph Strigley looks very good in this run so far, sitting in the top 5. Really, he could have a breakout season. This 86 team, they really could. If they can close out some races, maybe get some wins, that would be pretty cool to see that Canadian get one down. Look at Samuel England, though, in 5th. He's had a lot of good flashes of pace in the Sony Cup Series, and it's good seeing him running up in that top 5. He's always, emphasized being a championship contender, and really, you got to get some good runs like this, and with this new system, this is really good for him.
Horizon Group and Red Bull Racing, they lean on each other a lot. They're alliance partners, similar to how Shea Binyaka Racing and Curtis Racing are. And even with UER and how UER and Cybertron Motorsports are, it's a lot of these teams lean on each other just a little bit. Alliance partners, if you will, and that's kind of what England and Shrigley are. Affiliate teammates, in a way. Dejon Weeks a ways back in 6th place. Don't want to count out Dejon Weeks. He's always been a strong contender, and MER have shown a lot of pace, but reliability issues hit them hard at Dubai. Hopefully they have fixed that for this race weekend. Eric DeMax trying to fend off one of his old cars. He was supposed to be driving that 8 car this season.
Yeah, a lot of what ifs, I think, with this, due to the uncertainties of really CM Racing. Really, we didn't know if they were going to shut down, if they're going to keep on going, with outside factors playing a key role in this. But DeMax made the decision to go to MER, or really Strigley's team in this case. Basically the partnership as a Dodge driver, more or less. And well, it seems like he's flourishing, in SBR. They got to get their feet back up there, with the new shift in ownership. So there might be some stepping stones for them to overcome, but even so, great effort, for Charles Sanford. You see DJ Curtis, you see Reeves. They're all just kind of clung together. Jesse Turner has gotten around James Shelley, has gotten around Mark Haley. Mark Haley's continuing to get on the move here. Red Bull's starting to pick up the pace here in Sony Cup Series here. You see, look at that 83 car make a dive to the inside. Really late lunge there. And really, that's a really strong 83 car. If they really get the strategy right and just maintain that long run pace, that really could be a car to look out for.
I'm noticing it's looking like it's very difficult to make passes, and that's a little frustrating to see, and I imagine it's very frustrating for the drivers out there on the racetrack. You can get close to somebody but just can't quite make the pass. But England, really the only driver that has seemed like he's been able to make the dive bombs work, and here comes Sanford to the inside of Eric DeMax.
Yep, plenty of room there. DeMax gives, and Sanford just says, thank you very much. That's a spot for me. And again, a lot of laps left in this race. I'm not sure how the midfield's looking at the moment. I think it's the front pack's kind of done their own little thing. You see there, a little good battle here between Cole Baker and the number 6 there. There's also Richard Johnson nearby, and Luke Martin looks to be there, I believe. So, a couple of cars trying to move forwards and backwards here. It's just a matter of how these cars are adjusted accordingly in this race. And, we haven't had a caution quite yet in this event. Good green flag run so far, but again, plenty of lap time left and really a lot of time to adjust your car.
Just a note, that's Bobby Jones in the 47.
Yeah, thank you. See, I'm never good with names for a reason.
And here comes Luke Martin again, underneath his teammate there. Martin, an experienced driver in the 3rd Flipside Motorsports car. It's really only going to benefit that organization, I believe, having a champion like Luke Martin behind the wheel to help this organization. Look at Logan Cloud trying to enter inside the top 20, get to the inside of Cole Baker.
Big gaggle of cars back there. You might have seen a good 2 rows of cars going side by side here. And look at all that mess over here. And they're all battling for every position. Track position does matter in the race, though, because you never know when the caution will come out, or know when the leaders might approach you sooner or later, though. So a little loose off the corner there. That was a good save. That's some cars having maybe not much rear tire grip there.
Ryan Acosta a long ways back from where his teammate is. Charles Sanford well inside the top 10, and Acosta kind of struggling. Didn't qualify all that well. Racing with Jeff James. James, his teammate Charlie Smith. Way up top, Aiden Shepard. Oh, Vince Freeze.
I don't know what's happened with him. Maybe it's early pit stop and maybe a mechanical gremlin. You might want to check that out. Oh, it's an engine issue.
An engine failure, possibly.
Well, it's not quite blown up yet. It's not in a plume of smoke, but more or less a mechanical gremlin has plagued that number 25 car. Really a shame, because Vince Reed is one of the more likable drivers in the series. Really well respected, and that's... we don't really have many drivers like that, that have like that kind of like sincerity to it. And then you see the 33 down pit road. Is it a 4-tire stop? I would expect to be a 4-tire stop, looks like.
We're getting word that there's oil leak damage for Cal Farrell, which is the reason why I panned over to him. Farrell in the 33. Rodriguez Racing has shown a lot of pace, so that's kind of helped North Border Motorsports, which is like the sister team to Rodriguez Racing. And, well, Farrell, he's back there with Rodriguez Racing cars, aren't they? Rodriguez Racing qualified mid-pack. Farrell's been back there racing with everybody, but unfortunately had to make an untimely pit stop. That's going to put him several laps down.
Yeah, Zayden Davidson's really struggling on the track right now. The points leader coming into the race, he's just been falling backward. He's just stuck on that outside line. He just can't get the car to grip down to the bottom lane just yet. Schwalmberg's gone around him. But, both of them are outside the points as of the moment, so not really ideal situation for them. But again, we have a lot of time left, but I'd be a little bit concerned for the time being, but it's only lap 32 for crying out loud.
Anthony Marchese is right to the back bumper of DJ Curtis, trying to get into the top 10 very early. Marchese's been a big mover. That 10 and the 6 car have also been making up a lot of places.
Very much so. The 83 car's pretty much glued down on the bottom. Look how well that car grips and just loosens the 19 up. Just great racing. Just Marchese's just got a good long run Honda there. That car is ridiculous out there. You see, it just clings down the bottom. Sanford able to get around Dejan Weeks. That 8 car's coming to life too at the right time. So keep an eye out on Charles Sanford here. The old man still got it. You see, little gaggle of lap cars coming up. Jeffrey White's getting held up here, and looks like England wanted to make a peek down the inside, but it lets him go back down to the bottom of the track. So we're starting to see how lap traffic could be a factor in this race, and it's a matter of what you do with it, whether you actually use them as a pick, or, well, maybe you're the one that gets picked off, in the race.
Miles Mashburn not wanting to cause any issues to the leaders. He got loose, tried to get out of the way, and that's going to open the door for Cody Lamas to try and take the race lead.
I think the lap cars really hurt him there, because he had a really awkward apex coming into the corner, and Cody Lamas just immediately pounced in, and well, just like that, that's one way to get the lead. Just like I said, lap cars could really play to your advantage, and Cody Lamas being an opportunist there.
One thing I want to note, Mitchell Collins, this car, 4 years ago, if you told me 4 years ago, I would not think 2019. It feels like yesterday we were doing 2019, but Mitchell Collins in the 43 car. This 43 car won 7 times in 2019. And, well, right now, we're not getting told there's anything wrong with the 43 car, but Mitchell Collins, 40th, and a lap down, the first car to go a lap down without an issue. And that's kind of a little bit of a surprise to me for AFRT to be 40th and going a lap down early on.
And I think it really says a lot about, let's say, ownership being a big factor here, because you want your owner to be invested in the series, and I know people are like, it's going to be a little out of character here, but like, people are pretty busy IRL, so that stuff kind of happens, but you need like stability in a team, right? And you also kind of need that balance. You have an experienced driver, maybe you can have an old lineup, of great talent, but you need like a crop of drivers that are very much experienced or really have that raw pace, that we see from like generational drivers like Dylan Schwalmberg, or maybe even like a Dane Stinson. I know like it's very early to say that, or you could argue with like that of Dejan Weeks for another driver, Ryan Griffin, even though he's kind of a little bit of a late bloomer, in the Sony Cup Series, as examples. Like, there are just certain drivers that just bloom out so fast and in the right spot, but AFRT just kind of not there yet. They were one of the greats, but it's just not sure. There's a lot of things that went wrong with that team.
I agree with you 100%. Cody Lamas taking that lead. Shrigley followed suit right behind him, but Sean Harple has dropped to 5th ever since, and there's Sanford, like you mentioned, really coming to life. He pulled that gap on Weeks, and Sanford could be a factor for tonight's race. He's got a good car. He's right in the back bumper of Harple.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that 8 car, they've got a good long run car. It looks like it's just like Marchese. That car just blew down the bottom really well, and Sanford's very smooth with his race car. Looks like he doesn't really make many mistakes out of there so far, but this is just a splendid run for the SBR organization.
Right now, Shrigley really hounding the 48 up front. Weeks is back to 7th. Then the race for 8th. Eric DeMax holds it, but there's Marchese. He is now inside the top 10. James Sorfox down to 10th. Marchese rolling the center a whole lot better than most guys.
Yep, you see just that car just so well down the ground. Just slid up a little bit there that time around, but I think we should look a little bit back towards the field, you know, give some guys some a little loose off the corner there. Actually just saw him wiggle there, and you know, a couple of these drivers just struggling out there, and oh my goodness, look at him.
He's so aggressive, isn't he?
Oh, he rubbed him. Oh, they rubbed fenders there off the 4. It was really sketch, but he's been really very entertaining to watch, actually. That's really what I like about some of these drivers so much. And he's just, that car's on rails. Like I've said so many times to be repetitive, but he's ridiculous.
Marchese really, he went in that corner. I think he was trying to art the corner a little bit. Kind of entered high a little bit, went a little higher than he wanted to, cut back under, and he got real loose. That wheel spin, get on the gas a lot faster than what he normally did.
I think you should check the lap times, you know, like look who's got the fastest car at the moment. I don't know if he does, but I feel like he's one of the best up there right now. Shrigley's got the fastest lap time. Hondas are cooking right now.
They are cooking for sure. And it ain't nothing like the what were they, the Kunkelmans at Daytona? It ain't nothing.
Yeah,
like
I mean
that.
they were just hiding their potential. They were sandbagging clearly. So.
Man, he is really on a move. He's going to get Dejon Weeks in a couple of laps, it feels like. Up at the lead, though. And White slowly but surely trying to close in. Francois Chastain, another car going a lap down to Cody Lamas.
Yep, 44 car is about to go a lap down, too. You see that Hot Wheels Dodge up there. I almost said Chevrolet for a moment. Had a little blunder, but not ideal for AFRT right now. 43 went a lap down, soon to be the 44 at this rate. Joseph Shrigley's looking pretty good there. Very good exit off of 2. Maybe lost a little bit of ground that time around, but again, that 86 car and that 48, they're so fast right now in the 11. And I imagine, I'm telling you, if that 83 car, I know I've said it again so many times, but if he started maybe a bit further up the grid, he'd probably be the leader.
Right now, it's Curtis Racing with Lamas and White, and the Hondas look really good with Joseph Shrigley, Samuel England, and Anthony Marchese to the back bumper of Dejon Weeks, looking to pick off another race car, another Chevy to keep an eye on. Charles Sanford, slowly but surely, right to the back bumper of Sean Harple. Oh man, really struggled off of turn 2 there.
I think this is really what the tires are going to start to really wear. Really, a lot of them have kind of been wearing, I would say, since lap 20 or so. Because, you know, you got to be very smooth with your car to have a good long run. Really manage your tires, but also, you know, you got to be really wise with how you make your decisions here. And you see Lamas kind of boxed in behind the 44 car. This is an opportunity for Shrigley to make a move to the inside. I think it's a matter of he's just going to wait it out a little bit here.
Shrigley and England in the top 4. They have not won a race in the Sony Cup Series, and I believe both of them have great odds to try and do that this season. That organization with Honda really supporting both Red Bull and Horizon Group heavily this season, trying to get one of those teams into victory lane. Lamas picking his way through Bobo Jones. And Bobo, he had a top 10 at Daytona and Dubai. It's kind of impressive to see him at Dubai running inside the top 10. But really struggling. Well, AFRT in general has really struggled. 39th for Metro Collins. The 88 for Breeding Enterprises is like the sister team for them. And Hannah Allen in 37th. And, well, for Bobo Jones, who has his career in the Hardee's National Series, speaks for itself. But 34th on the racetrack, probably not a very good representation of the driver himself, it looks like it's overall AFRT struggling themselves with their race cars.
Yeah, it doesn't look like ideal situation for them, you know. Maybe their short track program is something they got to really work on coming into the latter half of this season. I kind of want to look to see where like 30th on up are, you know. I kind of want to take a gander at that leaderboard here to see where all these drivers are positioned right now. Give them a little shout out here.
Yeah.
It looks like Eves in 29th, Dane Stinson looks like 28th, correct me if I'm wrong there, James 27th, Acosta in 26th. Couple drivers struggling. Matthew Rodriguez is only in 25th, so this is a really disappointing effort for the Columbia Toyota, so kind of surprised he's only in 25th right now.
And Matthew Rodriguez, his teammate Dylan Schwellenberg, excuse me real quick, gonna take a pause, trying to make sure we don't lose this coverage for you.
Your game better not freaking crash.
It better not, dude.
Have to restart the whole darn race all over.
It better not. Rodriguez is in 25th. Dylan Schwellenberg is not exactly as high up as I originally thought he might be, but he's in 17th. Perkins, really a solid run for Great Lakes Motorsports in 18th position. But the point leader, Zayden Davidson, has really struggled since the word go, and he's been losing positions. Going to be racing with Luke Martin and Logan Cloud. They continue to be 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Yeah, what do you expect to be the fuel window coming out of this? You know, so far we've had a pretty clean race. You know, no cautions, no really big incidents as of noted. You know, when do you expect them to pit lap wise?
You would think they would cut the race distance in half, but in historical data has shown that most races see everybody come and pit near around lap 90. They tend to stretch it and then pit real late into their fuel window. And so tire wear, it does kick in, but I guess the teams never really think that it's that big of a deal that they need to pit as soon as possible. They tend to stretch their fuel windows long into around lap 80, 90. So that's when we probably can be expecting in about 20 to 30 more laps that these guys will be racing until they have to pit. And then here we are with the flip side cars back here, just highlighting some of these guys that are mid-pack that are kind of struggling, trying to build their reputation in the Sony Cup Series, build their organizations. The 33 car Cal Farrell lap down like we mentioned, but Baker and Goss down here in 22nd, 23rd. Dylan Young for Spartan Motorsports. It was such a poor season, wasn't it, last year with Spartan?
Indeed. Wasn't ideal for Dylan Young, you know, having to have a little change in scenery for him, but I think Young still got what it takes. You know, I think it's just sometimes, you know, you just need a new team just to kind of flourish in.
Dylan Young in the 00, though, he is now driving the open car. Failed to mention that for this broadcast, but Young driving the 00 had drove the first couple rounds in the 07, and well, the reason for that change was because of the points he gained at Daytona. The team was confident in those points and the position for the charter battle for the 07, so they moved Dylan Young to the open car to try and gain a charter at season's end. And Miles Mashburn in the 07 chartered car, locked into every race. Dane Stinson back here, Shade Eves in the 15, racing with Acosta and Jeff James. They have to get up and go because Cody Lamas is coming. Race for second position. Joseph Shrigley has been losing out.
White's up to second now. So I think it's a Curtis Racing 1-2, and that's certainly not suspicious. Man, you know, they got to break the wall for a bit. But England up to third, though. Great run. Again, this Red Bull car. Look at Marchese back there. Oh, my gosh, I see him. He's like a speck for a moment, but I think that, again, oh, my gosh, he's coming, guys.
Anthony Marchese looking really fast, has been picking his way through the field. How about Dom Capps? Just saw him on the board. He's moved his way into the top 10.
Yeah, great effort for them. Team Velocity really needs a run like this. We love seeing different kind of teams, you know, rise up to the occasion. And that 6-car Dom Capps, that experience, I'm telling you what, that's really playing a pivotal role in the development of that team. Dejan Weeks trying to get around lap traffic. He's kind of boxed in behind a lot of lap cars right now. Freeze in front of him. And
Jesse Toner's going to try and capitalize. Toner entered the top 10. He's been outside the top 10 for the most of the race.
Good stuff for the two-time champ.
James is on the back foot, going to need to make an adjustment on this pit stop. Only going to be one pit stop for tonight's race. Marchese on the back bumper of Harple is going to get 6 in no time. I want to see this overtake. Not able to see a whole lot of them. You can just see off turn 4. Turns to the inside. Going to dive bomb it, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, definitely had to give him. I think Harple knew he was there, so he just gave him the space. And look at that. If they make that adjustment really well, or even if they don't really have to change much, I don't think, with this car, how fast it's been, I don't think much needs to be changed. But if everybody else adjusts better than he does, ooh, boy, we've got ourselves a good race here. But see, looking back there, you see just, again, Caps in that 10th spot, just a grand due effort for him. DeMax has fallen outside the top 10, but even Nelson Reeves still maintaining a top 15 run. A great run for this 4-car. I know they want points at the end of the day, but, you know, again, pit stops could really change the complexion for some of these drivers. You could have a good stop, bad stop, you know, go either way, you know, both sides of the coin, per se.
I'm really impressed. Team Velocity actually they have to be super proud having Dom Caps in the points. Caps has been moving his way up through the field, and Reeves just down on the outside of it. James Shelley in the 71 here with DJ Curtis and Bobby Jones. Dylan Schwellenberg, Sean Perkins. Silver Fox has dropped a few places too. Not much movement from Zayden Davidson and Logan Cloud. Just running through the field real quick for you. Luke Martin, Cole Baker, Will Goss, Dylan Young, Dane Stinson, Matt Rodriguez. Really poor run right now for Rodriguez, continuing to really struggle and not get any momentum in this run. Needs to make adjustments. He's going to probably fall a lap down in a few laps. Jeff James just behind with Shade Eves, Ryan Acosta, Charlie Smith, Diego Yepes. 31 cars on the lead lap as we close in on halfway. It's Lamas still leading the way.
I think it's kind of crazy how many cars have still been on the lead lap this time. I think it really, I would say it's an indicator of how close the field's been. Yeah, I know there's going to be obviously some stragglers. That's just natural in any kind of racing series, but I would think there'd be a lot more, maybe on or off the lead. Like Lamas went way up into the marbles there. I think he might have panicked due to the one of the lap cars checking up in front of him, and that's actually going to allow Jeffrey White some space to try and maybe attack here. Oh, a little late dive on Charlie Smith. There goes the 11. But Lamas, I don't know what happened. He might have just panicked a little bit there, but no harm, no foul. Still Curtis Racing 1-2, but England is on the bumper of that 11 car. Srigley, Sanford, and look right there, Marchese. The Red Bulls, I'm telling you, man, they are cooking. They are just flying out there. Really, England's been able to like maintain that consistency, but Marchese's been able to pass cars left and right like nothing.
Sanford and England. And look at Sanford dive bombing it on the inside of Shrigley. As Shrigley's own teammate holding him up. Aiden Shepard, he'd been out of the series for a while. Part-time starts for Horizon Group in the Hardee's National Series. Won a couple races many moons ago, Aiden Shepard in the FBRL. But a slow start in his rookie year in the Sony Cup Series. Holding up his teammate, Joseph Shrigley. Here comes Marchese.
Yeah, they're looking at him fly past the 76. I keep thinking Charlie Smith's in the 76. I'm so used to him in that car. You know, when you're old, you kind of know. You're just so used to some drivers. It's like Nick Mason, the 48, right? You know, when Cody Lamas got in the car, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm not used to that quite yet, unless you're the owner. But, I mean, besides the point. Jeffrey White able to close in on Cody Lamas here, able to get some runs off of 3 and 4. They're spreading the gap a little bit from Samuel Ing. I think England's just struggled to get around that 31 car here. And,
oh, Marchese!
They're holding their ground. But Marchese, again, on the move. He's just dissecting the field, you know. Oh, just couldn't get a run, though. Couldn't get a run off of 2, but Sanford had to give him room. I think really the 83 just went for a late lunge, and it paid off. It just stuck.
I wonder if Sanford was worried about the dive bomb. Gave him room, and here comes Shrigley, going to try and power back. Pit stops are going to be coming up here in a second, DJ. It's going to be about maybe 5-10 laps. These guys are going to be on pit road, going to be making adjustments. Speaking of cars falling backwards, it is Dejon Weeks. Oh, I thought he was going to make a move to pit road.
Yeah, no, I thought so too for a moment. That would have been a really cool call, actually. I mean, you can technically do it at this rate. The window's pretty much open, but I don't see anybody coming in just yet.
Still no caution flags. Everybody's been minding their own out there on the racetrack. A lot of wheel spin, but everybody's not really been playing tag with each other. They've been very nice on the racetrack.
I'm telling you, these are some heckin' hard Goodyear compound tires. Like, you probably have these on the ultra hards, if anything.
Tearing it up, but they definitely got the hards on. Gotta be. Harple been falling backwards as well, just not having the pace like Curtis Racing in them.
White's got the lead. White just took the lead from Llamas.
Has taken the race lead only a couple of laps ago and might have got help from lap traffic. Looks as though in turn 1, Llamas got held up behind Diego Yepes, and White was able to capitalize.
And we have to make note that this is a contract year for Jeffrey White. You know, there's a lot of speculation that he might be out of this seat at the end of the year. And right now, he might be proving some doubters wrong here, and maybe even the owner himself. You know, there were a little bit of doubts, but Llamas back on the rear bumper of that 11. Davidson down pit road, so I think we've got ourselves some stops igniting here.
Championship leader making an aggressive move to try and get back into the championship points. Behind them, Charles Sanford on pit road, one of the leaders.
I wonder how far Davidson was behind when, by the time Sanford came down, because Davidson just, again, the pace just hasn't been there. They missed the setup at that 91, but gonna have to throw maybe a massive wrench or so. But more cars coming down pit road. Really, Mercedes has really struggled this race so far. Harple was the only exception, staying in the points, but everybody else just kind of had Mercedes team they haven't had much pace to show today.
Right here, Shrigley on pit road. He's also one of the leaders, but the Red Bulls stay out. Marchese has cleared his teammate of England. It's Curtis Racing, though, that is out front and in the race lead. They might want to consider pitting.
Llamas checked up a little bit. You see that there? I think he's pitting. Marchese stays out. England comes in. Cap stays out. I don't know if he actually pitted. Actually, he might have pitted already, actually, so correct me there. Turner's in.
Oh, Weeks!
Stays on.
Weeks is spun. I guarantee you.
Any caution on that? I don't know if he was trying to come down pit road or not.
No caution flag.
Might want to take a look at that. I don't know if he came down or if Curtis got into the back of him.
It looks as though Dejon Weeks was going to pit and Curtis was trying to re-enter the racetrack.
I think both of them were that's just a miscommunication on both ends there. I think both spotters were just kind of in the clouds there.
Wow.
I think that's really bad timing, if anything, I would say.
There's Jeffrey White pitting.
I think a lot of people... Wow. Oh, man. Oh, that was Eves. Oh, that's some front-end damage to the subway car.
Everyone's still trying to pit. Schwallenberg with the overcut. There's Shrigley, Rodriguez. Who is going to end up being in the lead? Llamas was up there. Who was the ones that short-pitted? Charles Sanford definitely short-pitted. Trying to get another look. There he is.
Ahead of Llamas, so good call here. It's just a matter of really the tires here. How good are the tires? Llamas might get jumped here by Shrigley. He will, so it's gonna be. We gotta wait and see how the field cycles out. But this is a great stuff for the 18. But really now, he's just gotta hope lap traffic plays a pivotal role in holding these guys up. But again, still got a bit of time left here to see where these guys cycle. Look at the side-by-side. White stuck behind Eves, and that did not help the 11 car at all. Marchese's right behind him. I don't think he's going to like the lap car at all. Lap cars are really a kryptonite for any lead lap driver.
Shade Eves really hindered Jeffrey White leaving pit road, costing a 10th or so. Nelson Reeves, one of the last cars on pit road. Reeves, I thought, was already on pit road. Wanted to check and see if he had any issues. Does not look like it. Might have been confusing him with Sean Harple. But
indeed
Sanford in the 8 is now the new race leader. He pitted a lot earlier than everyone else. Very aggressive. But let's talk about how Sanford, he was like one of those that was flying early on. And if he can continue that pace, he might be a hard car to pass later on.
I did make a note to have a little eco trip here, but I thought that 8 car would be one of the faster cars in the long run here, and it looks like that might be the case so far. But let's see the gap here: 3.68, 3.72. So little gain there by Joseph Shrigley, but I think also having to deal with lap traffic. Matt Rod's actually a lap down now, so after stops. So very very interesting. really disappointing night for this 9 car, really. 22 cars on the lead lap there after the end of pit stops. And really, Matt Roth's nightmare race continues here. Llama's still in third, though, really. They were leading earlier, him and White, and now they're third and fourth. Even still, good points day for them. Sean Harple's actually right behind Jeffrey White. Got around Anthony Marchese, looks like. I think he might have jumped him in pit stops, but Red Bull's still right near each other here, and Dom Katz has also reeled his way into the top 10. 8th, was lingering around 10th, but he's starting to close in on the Red Bulls as well.
How about Jesse Turner and Bobby Jones? Bobby Jones, we haven't talked about him a whole lot. He's not been in the points at all in this race, but after pit stops, a great adjustment. I think he might have been one of those that came in a little early. Got some track position. He's now into the top 10. Outside of the top 10, we'll cover the field for you. James Sorfox with Eric DeMax and DJ Curtis. That's 11th, 12th, and 13th. 14th, it is James Shelley. The point leader, Zayden Davidson. He pitted early, but it has not really paid off a whole lot for him. He's only moved up to 15th. 16th position, Nelson Reeves. So he's fell back a little ways. Dylan Schwallenberg leading Cole Baker at 17th and 18th. And then race for 19th. Sean Perkins and Dejon Weeks. Weeks spun, entering pit road. That contact with DJ Curtis has dropped him a ways, but he's still in the hunt. A caution flag is to fly. Would bring him in right back to the bumper of a lot of cars.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And I just noticed something here. I think out of all, some of those drivers in the points, but I don't really see anybody within the top 6 actually in the standings in the points at all. Davidson's been struggling. Weeks, obviously, with the spin, sitting in 20th. Schwallenberg has just not had the car to contend for a top 10. Matt Rod has just been struggling. And Goss, well, the 51, really, they've just been nowhere this race. But, White, Caps, Lamas. Perkins is the outlier here. I would say he's punching above his weight for a reason. He's a champion, for crying out loud. But, still a great run for the 57. But really, only a handful of people in the points, that are in the top 10.
Yeah, not all. This is gonna allow everybody to be very close entering Homestead currently as it stands. Charles Sanford, he got very lucky at Dubai, ended up getting 1 point on the board. Currently, right now, sitting where he could gain 25 points. That would be a massive shift right now, because currently, second place in points only has, 25 points for the win. So it's going to be very important. Finishing inside the top 10 for these races.
8 car's pulling a gap. Even with older tires, he's pulling a gap. So I think this 8 car is they've made some really good adjustments here. SPR, oh man, I might have spoken a little bit too soon with the organizational change. Doesn't look like much has changed because they still got the speed, especially with that 8 car at the moment. I mean, their teammate maybe not so much, but Sanford's just doing a grandiose job.
You might want to consider Charles Sanford. When Luke Martin won that championship back in 2020, it moved the mark from who was possibly the best driver to never win the championship from Luke Martin to possibly down to Charles Sanford. Sanford, I think, is the only driver with 20 or more wins in the Sony Cup Series without a championship. And, well, he's in the car that won the championship 3 seasons ago. And, well, the old CM Racing organization, always a threat to win titles in no matter whatever division they're in. And Sanford, could he be an outside threat for the 2023 title? It's very early in the season, but leading this race and pulling the gap on the 86.
No. He's very slow on the track. If he stops in the middle of the track, it's going to be a caution here, and he's there's no way he's going to get car rolling. He's going to stop right now. That's going to be an easy yellow. Don't hit him. Nobody hit him, please.
That's going to be a yellow flag. Dylan Young had to park it on the racetrack. An issue with the tire failure. The first yellow flag of the day is out here at North Wilkesboro. And that's going to bunch the field up. 19 cars on the lead lap.
Drivers here. That's going to save a lot of drivers here. Really, a lot of the cars that are on the lead lap here. But I think for the chagrin of Charles Sanford, that is not what they needed at all. They did not want that. They were pulling a pretty solid gap. Certainly did gain a little bit that time around, but even so, the odds were in their favor. Now they just gotta kind of hold them off for the time being,
Wow. Wow, so I think it might have been a flat tire or something. They got the tow back to the pits, and Young might not lose, but maybe one lap or so. He was already a lap down.
You just don't want to add more damage to their race.
But Sean Perkins is a lap down. 19 cars on the lead lap. This is going to change a little bit. Looks like all the leaders are going to choose to stay out. It is currently Sanford over Joseph Strigley a long ways back, but when they go double file, there's Vince Freeze. He's going to come down pit road. But when they line up single file on the top, it'll be Strigley back there in second. Cody Lamas going to be right back to the back bumper of the 8 and the 86. He's in third. Fourth is Harple. Fifth is going to be Samuel England. Jeffrey White a long ways back here in sixth now. Anthony Marchese down in seventh. Dom Capps eighth. Bobby Jones ninth. DJ Curtis is in the points in 10th. Some of the lap cars coming down pit road. Making up the rest of the cars on the lead lap. Jesse Turner 11th. James Sorfox, Eric DeMax, the current championship leader, Zayden Davidson, James Shelley, Dylan Schwellenberg caught a lucky break. Same with Nelson Reeves, Cole Baker, and Dejon Weeks does stay on the lead lap in 19th.
This is going to be very fun. I think it's going to bring it back. More of the emphasis on lap cars. What will they play a role in, you know? And Charles Sanford, though, again, what a drive he's having so far. I know it's, again, still lots of laps to try and close it up, but, you know, there was at one point he was going to be in the Hardy's National Series this year, you know? But now he's back up in Sony, thriving just fine in this race, you know? Like you mentioned earlier, got that point.
Oh, boy, Shrigley's having an issue.
Oh, boy, what's happened? Oh, wait, I think the car just had an aneurysm there.
I thought Shrigley was having a problem. I hope not. Doesn't look like
I think he was
it.
trying to knock some tape off the front end. Maybe some debris.
Let's hope so. One of the most aggressive drivers in the series back in the day, Sean Perkins and Luke Martin, they're on the bottom, going to try and get their lap back. And
yep,
well,
and they have the liberty to, so no objections there. And the leaders should expect it. Pace cars off. Sanford will lead the way here. Only a handful of laps to go here at North Wilkesboro.
Shrigley did a great restart, cleared the lap traffic. Lamas trying to clear Perkins back there.
Yep, Lamas has got to clear the 57 soon, or else he's just going to really lose out to the top two here. Shrigley, grand start for him. He's going to be the one to try and chase down Charles Sanford. Lamas can clear the 57 off 4 here, and he's got to dive it in late, and there he goes. Lamas, it's going to be a 3-car race if Lamas can catch him, but the lap cars, though, they have every right, again, to fight it out here. You know, they have to go for their track position as well, but Sanford leading the way here. Shrigley and Lamas second and third, rounding out the podium.
Currently, as things run, if somehow Cody Lamas can get up there in the race lead, he could leave this race with the championship lead, and he only has 10 points to Zayden Davidson's 33. So
yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt. You know, having to win a race, you know, is just huge in general in the Sony Cup Series, but getting a good amount of points is the cherry on top. And all of those lap cars back there, it's just a massive gaggle here. You know, you gotta get out of there. It's pandemonium, more or less. But right as I said that they're all single file right now, but gotten themselves settled out for a little bit here. You see Jeff James back there. They're all duking it out here. Jeffrey White stuck up top. Marchese's just kind of stalled out. Curtis down at the bottom this time around. Really, the lead lap cars need to get to the bottom. Bobby Jones should do that. Oh, they rubbed fenders. They're almost wrecked each other. And Curtis nudges Eves out of the way, but a couple of these drivers, they're going to take advantage of this.
What a move by Curtis to the inside. Bobby Jones and Dom Capps made that pass. Rodriguez on the bottom. It's hard to believe that he's a lap car and not in the factor of this.
Yeah, a lot of what could have been for him.
Marchese.
Yeah, that 83 is just stuck up top, and everybody knows they've got to take advantage of that. And again, Marchese has been one of the faster cars all night, and Curtis to the inside. Meanwhile, the top two, they're still just kind of steady, you know, only half a second behind Charles Sanford, Joseph Strigley. England to the inside of Sean Harple. That is looks to be the 4th position. Really, he's trying to defend for 4th, if anything, but the 14 able to get the run off the corner, but he's just stuck up top, just not the ideal line most of the time.
The top 3 pulling the gap. England's going to move back into 4th position. Harple's going to have to file back in line. A little further back, Jeffrey White, who was in contention for the win, looks like he's going to have to hope for another yellow flag or make a big challenge and rally back to the front because he's stuck in traffic. Other lap cars trying to move their way around Miles Mashburn. They're stuck behind him too. Curtis the inside of Anthony Marchese. A little further back, just outside of the top 10, there's Zayden Davidson. He's in 11th position, trying to get back in the points. Dom Cap's just ahead of him.
Yep, that point is crucial. Davidson needs to get past the 6 car as soon as he can. He's got a good run off of turn 4, and he's got to get down to the bottom. Got to get down to the bottom there and hope to get the good arc in the middle of the corner.
Further up, Curtis and Marchese continue to race each other, but Marchese trying to go around the outside of the 9. Remember, the 9 tried to shut the door on Marchese earlier in the race. He's not playing Marchese any favors here. And here comes Davidson for the 10th position to the inside of Dom Caps.
This is huge for Davidson. I know it's only a point, but even so, that can make a big difference in the championship hunt. The big picture here is just to get some points here, and Davidson crawling his way back up into the top 10, has to nudge the lap car out of the way. Liera gives room. And oh man, a couple cars getting loose off the corner.
Silver Fox is one of those cars that has not scored a top 10 at all so far in the first 2 rounds. He's hoping to do that in round 3 tonight. He's in 12th, looking for 11th on Dom Caps. James Shelley back there also has not scored a top 10, which is surprising for a Turner Performance car this early in the season, but it's still round 3.
Yeah, a couple of big drivers that haven't really caught a good break yet. Curtis for a moment, couldn't get any points. He's currently in the top 10, but Shelley, I think we'll get points sooner or later. It's kind of inevitable for some of these drivers because they're too good not to have any points or to really not have any points so far this season. But again, still few races, plenty of races left to take opportunity.
To Max is cleared. Jesse Turner struggling here. Well, all of the Ford cars with Turner Performance Racing and even Spa, they have all struggled to have overall speed compared to
Schmallenberg's
races.
Just nowhere either. He's just kind of stuck behind the 17, and Weeks hasn't really been able to make much forward progress as well, and really kind of a lot of these drivers just struggling in general. Reeves still in the top 20. Good effort for him. Again, I like to give shouts to those people. Cole Baker quietly in 19th. I know they want to get some points, but the 99 car looking very, very nice on the track.
Be on the lead lap. It's a good run, right? Oh! Problem for Bobby Jones!
Oh, no. More battle. This guy cannot catch a break.
Another
That's
yellow
actually going to
flag.
jam the field back up again.
Another yellow flag. Brake
It's a
failure.
brake failure.
Brake failure for the 47 back-to-back weeks for Bobby Jones. He is going to be out of the race.
I'm kind of surprised. It's just mind-boggling that the MER cars are just struggling with that reliability. Yeah, Weeks won the 500, but at what cost? The team's starting to implode around him in a way. It's just a lot of bad circumstances with this team. It's something they really got to worry about so much, and it's so early to have these reliability issues, especially for a top team.
And just like anyone else, MER preseason and even the first round and even Dubai, they've been fast every time they've been on the racetrack.
That was in front of the points leader too, so Davidson actually very aware, but he lost out so many spots. You see them all flock him around the outside line, and Turner hit the wall. He tank slapped the wall for turn 4, just trying to avoid it and trying to give room, looks like. But that's going to be another restart for Joseph Strigley to really try and pounce. Sanford's been able to pull the gap actually to 1.13 seconds, looked like. So Sanford's been able to keep the car, clean and up front, and it's going to be very good to see how Sanford manages this restart. Experience over, a little bit of inexperience Strigley has, the youth versus the old.
I wonder if these guys decide to pit. I do not believe anybody's going to choose to pit. It'll be about 20 laps to go. Strigley has been able to hang right there with Sanford. Now remember, Charles Sanford, he was the only one that pitted the earliest of the leaders. So everyone in theory has fresher tires than Charles Sanford.
Yeah, but I feel like it hasn't made as much of a difference as I thought it would have been. Because, right, Sanford's been able to actually pull the gap, but you could be thinking, like, a little mind game here. Like, oh, maybe you just want to force him to kind of bait him to push the tires more, but I feel like just that 8 car is just well adjusted for their liking, really for Sanford's liking. And man, what a season, what a race it's been so far. Great racing, great green flag runs so far. And mostly we just had mechanical gremlins, if anything, that plagued this race.
Other than when Curtis and Weeks made contact on the back straightaway, no yellow flag for any on-track incident between 2 or more race cars. Another brilliant restart for Charles Sanford. This time Shrigley not able to get the jump.
Oh, that was a perfect start for the 8 car. Look at him run away here. Shrigley needs to get to the outside, and actually the Honda, really, Perkins actually kind of let off for him, I think, actually. So gave his fellow Honda compatriot some compassion. So that actually was a little saving grace for Joseph Shrigley. So that's a little, maybe could have been a little bit of like manufactured shoulders there if you want to go that conspiracy like rabbit hole there. But Llama's struggling to get back up to the bottom side. We don't really see any Marchese to the bottom, though. I just saw him on the bottom. He's one of the first lead lap cars to get to the inside here, and that's going to be huge for him. That's going to be some free positions because White's stuck up there, Curtis is stuck up there, Harple's stuck up there, you know. So this is just what we expect, and yeah, the lap car's not playing nice to Cody Lamas or really anybody on that top side, and that's just kind of the nature of this track. And White trying to force his way to the inside, forced it 3 wide here on, looks like Goss there, and just couldn't make it stick.
Zayden Davidson at the line, made it his way to the inside of James Shelley, and Davidson's back into the top 10.
Yeah, so all he lost, he gained it right back, so it kind of balanced all out, you know, hit that equilibrium, more or less, and White's still stuck up there, and look at the gap, 0.49 for Shrigley and Sanford here, and really, he's just trying to really get the gap slowly but surely here.
Right now, definitely a race between Joseph Shrigley and Charles Sanford at the front. Sanford looks like the favorite. Shrigley, though, in car 86, looking to score his first race win. Sanford looking for his 21st. And Lamas finally getting clear of Sean Perkins. Samuel England trying to follow him through on the bottom. Pole sitter Sean Harple's making up the top 5.
Yep, Curtis got led in by the 54 of Luke Martin there, and all these guys, all are clumped up together for the podium position. Lamas now having to fend off Samuel England. England's hungry for that podium. You know how fast he is, and the true grit and like determination this guy has had for quite a while. He's wanting this, and here comes Curtis to the inside of the 34 or the 14 for position here, and should clear him with help from the lap car perhaps here. And there goes Curtis into the top 5.
Curtis really hasn't been in the top 5 all race long, but coming up on 10 laps to go, Curtis always tends to find his way to the front when it matters. And that's going to be very important when it comes down to the season-end championship battle, which the 19 team has yet to score any points. A lot of these guys, no points on the board, which, looking at it, England, Curtis, Harple, Marchese, Silver Fox, all inside the top 10, but no points to go off of from round 1 and 2.
Yep, the gap really stays stagnant between the top 2. Ooh, look at the Max go. He's got to get to the inside of the 91. This is huge. Oh, just couldn't get the run off. The 77 is going to really box him in. That might help Davidson, but no, the 77 goes to the inside and goes way up the track.
Look at Max. Very aggressive driving to Max. We know he'll put it in there.
He could get 2 birds with 1 stone, but I think Davidson able to get it back down to the bottom here.
Schwellenberg's randomly entered the chat. There he is.
Oh, Shelley's coming in. There's Shelley right there, too. Cap's trying to close in as well.
Not missing anything really at the lead. 7/10 back. Joseph Shrigley to Charles Sanford.
Oh yeah, there's no change here. I think this race is sealed unless the 8 car has a catastrophic failure. I don't think they're gonna really catch that number 8 car. Straley's might have to wait another race to get that win, but what a drive for him so far. Really, for a lot of these drivers that have been trying to get points this season.
He might find himself outside of the top 10. Loses 9th to Davidson and might lose 10th to Eric Tamax. Shelley with no points on the board. Same with Sorfox. They're trying to get points.
Yeah, Davidson's got to get in the attack here. He's got to get around Jeffrey White here for position. There he goes, right to the inside.
This is going to be 2 more points for him. Davidson.
Oh, look at him roll off the corner really well. That was so smooth. You see that?
Oh, yeah. Over a second now, the leader.
Oh, yeah, I think it's over. It's no question,
Wow.
but Curtis making a move for the podium. He's been on the move out of nowhere. DJ Curtis starting to come to life. He was in the top 15, running outside the points for quite a bit. Now, I think that caution really helped this 19 car a lot. And, man, I think here he comes. He's flying. He might not win the race, but he's surely going to get some points out of this.
With 4 laps to go. Look at that gap. Charles Sanford, the most unlikely drivers to pilot the 8. It was supposed to be Eric DeMax in this car. DeMax jumped ships to go to Joseph Strigley Racing to partner up with what was MER. MER and Joseph Strigley Racing, they're one of the most tight-knit alliances, but so too is Curtis Racing and Shea Bignacco Racing, which was the old CM Racing organization. We know this is a championship caliber team, but we figured with the change of ownership that this might hinder the organization, but it
maybe a little,
hasn't.
if anything. I think the team, just the true strength in the alliance too. You know, Curtis Racing helping the team out as well. I think really just showcases still how strong the partnership has been with them. I think Curtis Racing, though, I don't think they're going to be happy with maybe coming up short with a win because, you know, it's kind of like that, kind of a reoccurring pattern, you know, like their other partner does good, but here we come, white flag in the air, 1 more lap to go for Charles Sanford.
What a big win it will be tonight for Joseph Strigley, for Shea Bignacco Racing's Charles Sanford. Sanford, who was supposed to go racing in the Hardee's National Series this season, gets tapped to drive the 8 this year, and in round 3 at North Wilkesboro, give it to Charles Sanford. Sanford, for round 3, wins his 21st career race over Joseph Strigley, runner-up, but attaboy to Joseph Strigley. His first win in the Sony Cup Series has to be on the horizon. And wow, Curtis and Lamas maybe not happy about how that last lap went down. Curtis and Lamas were rubbing doors. Yeah, it might have been friendly, but it was only by a little bit. Looked like about a 10th, separating them at the end. Lamas gets 15 points on the board. He'll join Strigley and Sanford on the podium. England a top 5.
Oh, what happened with the 4 car? He hit the pit road wall or something, or?
Nelson Reeves finishes 17th today.
I thought for a moment he was going to get turned. Maybe he hit the pit road wall. I kind of want to see what happened there.
Something definitely happened to make him stall.
Oh, they probably just. Oh, okay, yeah, just some under caution shenanigans. And there's the little flip there, cool little flip. Too bad that car is upside down and having to get towed. But yeah, a little shout out there to the guys in the points. Harple, you know, coming in, started off well, finished well. You know, probably wanted to be a little bit faster out of that. You know, Anthony Marchese, we mentioned him, you know, climbing through the field, just one of the biggest climbers of this race. Davidson, great recovery drive. Really, CBM kind of thrived at the end, actually. Those cautions really helped those 2 cars out, 91 of the 19. DeMax, grand run for him in 9th. And then James Silverfox, how about that? The Mercedes kind of picked it up at the end with some luck and maybe a little bit of adjusting at the end, but for the moment, I said they were kind of slow in this race, but I guess I was proven wrong for that occasion. But again, a little bit of luck in that too. But how about that win for Charles Sanford? Statement win. You said win 21 for him, right? So yeah. That's huge. You know, you think of a driver that's kind of old in this series, you know, this universe, and sometimes you have those doubts, those pangs of doubts, where it's like, oh, do I still got what it takes? You know, we look at drivers like Luke Martin. He's old, but dude's freaking baller. You know, like. Oh yeah. Thrives in H&S, thrives in NTS, you know, thrives in Sony Cup, though I know he's not in the most ideal equipment right now in the finishing 21st, but still.
For example, he's a threat to win. And Charles Sanford, when you go a few years where you're just not fighting for race wins, you tend to have that element of doubt. But in a competitive car this season, I keep wanting to say Joseph Strigley Racing, Shea Bignacco Racing, the old CM Racing organization, I think there was a lot of doubt heading into this race weekend and really this whole season on how they would do. And it's looked like Curtis Racing's had the edge in that Chevy Alliance, but still, they come up short to the old CM Racing team.
Yeah, Jeffrey White was running really good. I know I'm talking about a little bit of my team too much, but he finished 13th there and looked pretty good in the race. Just kind of fell back. I think got unlucky with those restarts. Jesse Turner hitting the wall, struggled at the end. Weeks, Schwalmberg ended up just short, actually. It was only 3/10 off of Silver Fox, but oh so close for him. Shelley struggled. Cass ran near the top 10 area, just the outskirts of, just kind of near the edge of the top 10, more or less. Logan Cloud, 19th. Sean Perkins, 20th. Great Lakes. I know those aren't points, but that's still pretty good for a team
Logan
like
Cloud?
that.
Give Cloud a lot of props there. He beat Sean Perkins. That's a champion.
I'm telling you,
that's a good run for Logan Cloud to be able to beat Perkins.
I'll tell you what. I think Cloud's kind of an underrated driver in my book. I think he's kind of like one of those drivers that kind of lurks under there, just achieves what he can in that card, can overachieve, can impress. I feel this is I think he's got a lot of potential. A lot of drivers, I think, in not so competitive rides have a lot of potential here. You just gotta let them develop and grow, and I think people gotta kind of remember that. You can't be good off the bat. Sometimes it's just an effort,
And Baker beat all of his teammates at Flipside Motorsports, including Luke Martin. Will Goss right with his teammates, so you would know how good of a driver Luke Martin is. And Martin actually raced against Goss and Baker a lot in the lower categories, so he knows how they race, and he's only going to help benefit that organization. Looking a little deeper in the field, though, Matthew Rodriguez, really disappointing day all around, 26.
Yep. Indeed. I thought he'd actually climb his way up. Usually short tracks aren't really like a weakness for him. Shepard was struggling, but I kind of expected. I think some of these drivers kind of struggled near the back half. Charlie Smith, 33rd. Cal Farrell, 32nd. Really kind of the early issues plagued that 33 car lot. Dylan Young had his late issues. Freeze had the engine issue, Bobby Jones, tough break for him. Was doing so good. Dubai blew up. Now this race, another mechanical gremlin plaguing him. This guy cannot catch a break, I swear. Bobby Jones is one of the... I feel like he's got a lot of raw speed, but he just can't have a race go well for him, and it's usually not of his own doing.
How about that, though? All the cars finished on the lead lap. Vince Freeze had his own issues, but finishes 3 laps down in 42nd.
You better save those results before the game has an aneurysm. I better save them just to be safe. Sorry as well as the replay if you wanted to. But, very interesting race, Not many. We only just, again, cautions really were just mechanical issues. There was an incident between Curtis and Weeks where both guys went for kind of the same real estate. One going up, one going down just because of the differing pit cycles, But other than that, a very clean race. A lot of comers and goers, but a lot of drivers kind of that started near the front, kind of stayed near the front, too, in the same process.
Looking at how they finished inside the top 10, we'll go away with this. Zayden Davidson is still in the points lead. And I will... I actually got a report. I will run through the points real quick. I will give live points on stream. I
think that'd be a good idea. Give the fans what they want,
Give me just 1 second, and I will give everyone what they want. Points on stream. Sanford comes out victorious. 25 points on the board for him. Joseph Shrigley with 18 points. Cody Lamas in third on the podium, barely beating DJ Curtis at the stripe. But Curtis finally getting points for him. He gets 12 points on the board. 10 points for Samuel England. England gets his first points of the season. Same thing like Curtis. Harple, he needed that as well. No points. He gets them today. Or I might have said England. Harple gets 8 points. Typing this in as I speak. Anthony Marchese, another one of those drivers that is going to be very happy that he's scoring points. A lot of drivers that has not scored any points at all got them today, and that's going to allow Zayden Davidson to come away with the championship lead for another round. Nobody was able to overtake him. And looking here, Davidson picks up 4 points with his 8th place finish, was able to really claw and drive his way back to the front there and get inside the top 10 to Max. This is actually 3 races in a row that Davidson and Eric DeMax have finished inside the top 10.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good statement to really showcase consistency. Yeah, I know, like, again, they probably want more points out of that, but just the sake of getting points is already a good thing, to have a great start to the season.
Going to cut away, and we will show you the points. Let's see here. So it's Zayden Davidson that leaves this race with 37 points on the board. And Eric DeMax and Charles Sanford are tied for second. But with the race win, Charles Sanford is going to be second place in points after that. He got 1 point at Dubai, and that was a very critical point because if he didn't get that point there, it was going to be a massive tie between Dejon Weeks, Dylan Schwellenberg, and Cody Lamas. And Matt Rodriguez is there with all them. And entering Homestead, we have 11 drivers that could theoretically get the championship lead.
I think that comes to say, like, the change in the point system, right? Anything can happen. Even, like, drivers like James Shelley, I expect some guys like him, Ryan Acosta, maybe Richard Johnson if he hops in here and there. You know how, like, some drivers are. Bobby Jones. There's a lot of drivers that have yet to get points that could also get those, a top 10 spot or a win. Win matters so much here in the Sony Cup Series with, it rewards it so much. Yeah, I know there's a lot of gripes with the system, but, that's kind of, at least with how people have to adapt to it. Winning is everything, it seems, That's how you get the most points, if anything.
The point system has changed dramatically, and it's going to be one to follow all season. The fact that we have Davidson, DeMax, Sanford, Weeks, Schwallenberg, Lamas, Shrigley, Rodriguez, Goss, White, and Curtis all having a chance at Homestead to take the championship lead is going to be exciting to watch. And many other drivers further down, like Bobby Jones, who's had a lot of tough luck. Cole Baker's had a solid season, 2 top 20 finishes, but not in the points yet. James Shelley has yet to finish in the points after 3 rounds. Dane Stinson, a promising rookie. Shade Eves also, just to name a few, that have not scored a top 10.
Yep, I think the season will progress. I think we'll have about, I'd say more than half the field will get points. But at this rate, it's basically already the case. We got 21 guys that have gotten points. So I think it's imminent that, I feel like just because how the nature of the series can get, I think we're going to have like those chaotic races where some underdog teams are going to, take advantage, right? Like, say a plate track, that's going to be a big thing here. So maybe some road courses might get a little bit antsy. Or short tracks like this, maybe not as tame as this, but let's say more chaotic. Homestead was chaotic last year, so, anything goes, so I think it's what makes the series a lot of fun,
And I'm really excited to see how Homestead's going to pan out. Like you said, half the field already on the board in terms of gaining a top 10 in points. So with that, we're going to be signing off, and we'll see you. I think we got Homestead, not this weekend, but next weekend.
I think it's actually this weekend from what I remember, but I have to look back on that because I know I should be coming back in time to do Homestead for Hardee's. So I know for those Hardee's people, you're looking forward to that. I know a lot of you will miss me. So I'm trying to get some rust stuff. I always say that every time I commentate now because I always feel like I'm rusty, but should be able to do the H&S race this weekend, so giving y'all a heads up. I'm going to try and get, go home and all that down tomorrow or so. We'll see. But, a lot of it's honor just commentating with Noah here. A lot of fun. It'd be cool if we had more people, but, sometimes it's a bit too chaotic, like the duels.
Oh, yeah. But I really appreciate you coming on because I don't know if I would have done it if I didn't have a co-commentator. It's just not as fun if you don't have a co-commentator for it live, but it was very unique. Wasn't supposed to be doing it like this, but it was a good race.
Yeah, good green flag runs and all that. A lot of, again, comers and goers, so.
Yep, and with that, Zayden Davidson, back-to-back races, round 2 and now round 3, continues to hold the championship lead. He's never been quite the championship favorite, And, well, the fact that JSR is tied for second in points speaks a lot to the championship system. But to Max, don't know if we're going to have to wait and see on if MER and JSR fix their reliability issues, if Joseph Strigley Racing continues to get a whole lot more support from MER. I assume they will, but currently they need to find more speed. JSR definitely does. Dane Stinson, his teammate, struggling a little bit out there. But Dejon Weeks, he'll be trying to fight back. Dylan Schwellenberg, inconsistent day for him. Cody Lamas right there, 6th in points. Could be a real threat for this season if that speed continues with Curtis Racing. Jeffrey White back there. Matthew Rodriguez and Dylan Schwellenberg teammates struggled. And further back, DJ Curtis rallied to get some good points. 4th place. And only 25 points off his teammate in the championship race. And with that, me and DJ are going to sign off, and we'll see you next race for Homestead. Probably going to have to do exactly like I did for the duels. I don't know why I can't stop the broadcast, but I'm going to have to turn my computer off. See you guys later.
Oh my